Osiris has a long history. City leader, exiled, explorer among Vex, and merging with the Witch Queen. Although he's back alive in Seraph, he's struggling with many things, like finding himself, this vision of Neptune and Ikora watching his every move. Today we're going to tell the story from the Warminds Avatar set. In this set we learn about Cabal ships searching Neptune for any sign of life, a guardian hunting Osiris and Ikora's secrets. This season opened with Osiris speaking of visions on Neptune, something he sees from the Witch Queen. Also, that Ikora doesn't trust him and she thinks he's crazy.
Savathun couldn't conceal every thought. Some I stole. One of Neptune. The collapse. A turning point. It's a blur. I cannot focus. Ikora thinks I need to rest. The gall.
In the first card, the helmet, Saint and Ikora are arguing about Osiris. He is not compromised. Saint 14's voice echoes off the walls of Ikora's study. It would be Horus if he weren't an exo. They've been arguing for over an hour. Ikora crosses her arms over her chest. We can't know that for sure. You can't, Saint fires back. But I can. I see it in him. The frustration, the guilt, the pain. Osiris is telling the truth about his visions. I don't doubt that he is, Ikora replies, a note of frustration creeping into her own voice. But my hidden turned their eyes to Neptune and found nothing. I can't ignore the possibility that Savathun planted those visions in his head to misdirect us. So you ignore his warnings instead? Saint asks pointedly. Send your spies for a quick glance and then bury their findings in a drawer. Is every word Osiris speaks forever tainted by the Witch Queen? Ikora says nothing in response. The silence drags on until Saint grumbles to himself and turns to leave. Saint, Ikora calls after him, warmer than before. Osiris needs to rest. Please keep an eye on him. Why? Saint asks without looking back. I'm sure your hidden have enough eyes on him as it is. He leaves before Ikora could say another word. Alone in her study, she reaches into a drawer and pulls out a stack of papers, documents she had once been ordered to destroy but had instead preserved. Osiris's prophecies, from a time when she trusted his every word. Sometime later, Osiris ventures into the Batsa District of the city to speak to the spider to see what he knows about Neptune. If anything, he learns he is being watched. Osiris pulls the hood of his oversized cloak forward. Though he hopes to pass through the Batsa District unnoticed, the sharp beak protruding from his shadowy hood betrays his disguise. Elixni passers-by stare at him with suspicion. The erstwhile warlock slips into a darkened corner of the ether tank, where the barroom floor bustles with both human and Elixni gamblers, who wager whether the Warmind Rasputin will be restored and how many civilians it will kill if revived. On the far side of the room, Spider lords over the scene with satisfaction. Osiris watches him, intent on finding a way to discreetly question him regarding Neptune. The Elixni crime boss has cultivated a different set of informants than the hidden, and Osiris needs intel from the widest net possible. Suddenly, Osiris feels the hair on the back of his neck stand up. Though he no longer has his light, centuries of training have left his intuition as sharp as ever. He merges into the crowd of karaoke enthusiasts and surveys the room. Standing just inside the tavern entrance is another cloaked figure. Though their disguise is far more plausible than his own, Osiris can clearly identify the Praxtic warlock, Anor Mahal. Osiris curses under his own breath. He retreats through the back entrance into the chill of the night. Osiris feels the darkness close in around him and wonders who among his former allies still trust him. Given everything, he wonders whether he should still trust himself. The warlock Anor was a part of the Praxic Order. Back in Season of the Drifter, she was investigating the Drifter and his workings. During that time, you could side with her and the Vanguard or the Drifter and his games of Gambit. Anor is also a member of Ikora's spies called the Hidden, so it makes sense as to why she's watching Osiris. Osiris leaves the Batsa District and encounters Anor once more in an abandoned section of the city. Construction scaffolding casts geometric shadows across damp alleyways. Work is still being done to repair the damage caused by Gaul's invasion, and it is here in this place where rats scurry in the absence of citizens and where Osiris lies in wait. He had been here once before, nestled in a crack at the foot of the Schnell building, cupping his hands to his face to hold back the dark tide of necrotic fluid pulsing from his… No, that was Savathun. But still the shadows remember him, and he remembers their embrace. Osiris stirs from his reverie the moment his pursuer enters the alley. He can see her shadow cast across the wall, penned in by the scaffolding's negative space. It is an optical illusion of a prison, a trick of the eye. Anor Mahal notices the configuration and appreciates the symbolism of walking into a spider's web just before Osiris lunges from the darkness, grabbing her by the collar of her robe to slam her up against the opposite wall. Anor grunts on impact, her gaze trailing down to Osiris's trembling hands holding fistfuls of fabric. While his stare is ferocious, his strength is lacking. She lets him hold her there against the wall, and the moment he realizes he's being pitied, Osiris releases her and takes a step back. "Your mind is still sharp," Anor opines. It stings his pride, makes his jaw clench. "What did you think was going to happen? I'm not going to fight you." She looks him up and down. "It wouldn't be sporting." "I remember the day you were raised," Osiris says with hushed strength. "Curled up beneath a ruined bus, screaming for help, too frightened to hold the gun it nudged under the wreck for you." Anor sucks in a breath through her teeth and smooths the front of her robe. "I'm not here to hunt you," she clarifies. "I'm here to keep you safe." "From yourself," is implied. To that, Osiris has no retort. He reconsiders his surroundings and his actions and shrinks away with regret. So that's interesting. Anor catches up with him. She says she's not hunting him, she's there to help him. Ikora, yes, probably sent her, but Osiris struggles with himself and this past. In the Warmind pants, Osiris boards a Cabal vessel and speaks to Lord Saladin. Every instinct tells Osiris to fight, and yet, "I'm glad you can make it," is the warm greeting that Saladin Forge gives to Osiris as he steps into a study aboard the Ascendancy flagship Eligos Lex 5. Cabal architecture bends with rustic human furnishings that would not look out of place in the Iron Temple. Tea is already steeping when Osiris joins Saladin at the table, the aroma of black Assam bringing back ancient sense memories. "I assume your tastes haven't changed much," Saladin says, gesturing to the tea. "Did Ikora ask you to check on me?" Osiris asks and realizes how defensive it sounds the moment it leaves his mouth. He masks his bitter regret by taking a sip of too hot tea. "No, but I wanted to check in on an old friend." Saladin sits forward, cradling his own cup without lifting it from the table. "But I see you survived a lightless encounter with not one, but two hive gods. I'd say you're doing better than most." The pride in Saladin's voice makes Osiris's stomach turn, not out of uneasiness, but out of shame. And yet, Saladin certainly isn't patronizing. It's not in his nature to be. "Your context here?" Osiris deflects. "Among the Cabal." Saladin shrugs away his question. "Contentment is a luxury neither of us can afford. I am here, that's what matters. My place is here now, and humanity is better for it." A moment of silence hangs over the two, and Saladin's is the first to brave that space. "How long has it been since you and I took tea together?" "I can't even remember," Osiris says. "So long ago that it feels like a dream." Then, quieter, "Yolder was there." Saladin says nothing, focusing instead on his rippling reflection in the teacup. "I should not have mentioned her name," Osiris adds softly. "No." Saladin's response is swift and firm. "I don't want Yolder's memory to fade like so many others. It may hurt to remember, but the pain reminds us that we lived." And lastly, the Cabal search for signs of life or anything near Neptune, but come up empty, and Osiris is angry. Datapads are stacked atop handwritten field reports stacked upon leather-bound tomes. They rest in a spot of sunlight spilling through a round window draped with linen curtains, dyed sunset hues and framed by crawling ivy and wisteria. Osiris stoops over the table. half in the beam of afternoon light and half out. An audio log plays on one of the tablets with subtitles to translate the speaker's tongue of Olorant. Atmospheric composition: hydrogen, helium, methane. Scans show no active structures or civilizations. Osiris clenches one hand into a trembling fist, then scrubs forward in the log. Starship transit corridors near planetary body are non-existent. Lack of habitation ideal for concealing civilization fleet. No signs of prior human habitation. Cursing, Osiris sweeps the tablet off the table along with the books and notes. A scream rises from his mouth, and as he turns in rage, he locks eyes with Saint. Fury burns away to a cool ember of shame the moment Saint steps from the kitchen doorway. His partner is not dressed in armor, a sight few ever see. Instead, his broad shoulders are concealed by a loose poncho of magenta and lilac, bearing embroidered bird patterns spun by Elixni hands. Saint approaches and gently cups Osiris's face in his hands. The gesture causes the tension to melt away, and Osiris rests a cheek against Saint's fingers. "Why are you so angry?" Saint asks, his voice gentle and reassuring. It isn't so much a question as it is an exercise. "I'm afraid," Osiris whispers into Saint's palm, "that Ikora is right, that I'm..." It takes time for Osiris to make his fear real with words, but Saint gives it to him. "That I'm broken." Saint pulls Osiris to his chest in a firm embrace, then presses a kiss to the top of his head. "You are not a teacup," he whispers against the shorter man's scalp. "People do not break, and you are not broken." Osiris rests his forehead against Saint's chest, at once feeling humbled and secure. The embrace lingers for as long as Osiris needs it, and when he finally does lean back enough to look up into Saint's eyes, he asks, "Then what am I?" To which Saint simply replies, "You are enough." So there you have it, Guardians, the tale from the Warminds Avatar set. Osiris is struggling with himself, Ikora sending spies to watch over him and see if he's going crazy, as throughout the season he searches for secrets of the Nepheli stronghold and Neptune. If you'd like to see some more Destiny lore and mysteries just like this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. Anyway, I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next video.